This is Afshin Yazdani. I'm barrister solicitor from Ontario, Canada, and also provisionally licensed lawyer in California. Today, I'm going to give you some tips for US immigration for Canadians. Uh, Myself, as a Canadian, I went through this process. It was a very challenging process, and I consulted with many lawyers, U.S. Attorneys in Los Angeles and any other states, and uh, be honest with you, I didn't get any useful information from them. And then I tried myself this process. At the time, I was just a lawyer in Canada, but I did it myself. And now I'm trying to explain what was and what's the best option for Canadians. For Canadians, basically, there are few immigration options. Most of them, or you can start by a work permit or a study permit. At the starting point, and then after being in the US, then you can process the next step, which is a green card process. Uh, for the work permit process, there are different things. For example, there are TN visas, which are for some professionals based on the list on a treaty agreement between Canada, US, and Mexico. And those profession, um, usually they need a minimum of bachelor degree, most of them. And then if you have a job offer from US, you can apply and get the work permit and enter US as a worker. H-1B is another option, for example, again, but that one um, is not under treaty agreements. It's open, so many people can apply, and so compared to the TN visa, it's just for Canadian. Uh, the other one is for like a general, most countries, citizens, they can apply. So for H-1B visa, it's the same thing somehow. You need to have have a job offer, and then have to go through the process, getting that approval from the employer aspect, and then the next level will be applying for a work permit. That work permit for Canadian they can apply at the port of entry. They can do before entering the U.S. and also they can do even after entering U.S. So these are like a basic work permit for someone who has a job offer. Um, there are other categories for workers too. So for example, E2 visa. E2 visa, it's a investor treaties visa, so you need to invest significant amount, which is has to be, I would say, above 100,000, and it can be buy a business or you can establish your new business, and based on that, you can get a work permit. The issue with the E2 is there is no straight pathway to become a permanent resident of the U.S. Unfortunately, there are some uh, false information and mainly false marketing. They which they say if you get the E2 first and then you become a and you can apply for a green card later on under for example EB5, for example. For EB5, you don't need to first have a E2. So EB5 is a separate category. Any other categories are separate. So E2 itself doesn't have anything, any pathway to green card. Compared to this, there is another one, work permit, which is L1, intra-company transfer. Uh, but there are some requirements for that. For that, you need to have a business establishment in Canada, for example, and then that business establishment wants to run a business in the US and has it can be a startup level, it can be established business. If it's a startup, usually you get only 1 year work permit at the beginning, and then if it's already established, then you can apply for even for 3 years work permit at the beginning. This type of work permit L1 is divided to L1A and L1B, which these two different because L1A is for executive and for managers, and L1B is for people with specialized knowledge and different category. For L1A only, there is an option to become a permanent resident under EB1C category. So I'm going to explain this everything in my later videos, but in this video, I'm just trying to give you an overview of your option as a Canadian. So L1 is so far is one of the best program, I would say, for Canadian if they have a business in Canada. Beside this, student visa and exchange student visa, that's a different category, F1, J1. These are different category. And so your focus has to be, I mean, you need to determine from the beginning what you're looking for. You want to enter US and start working and running the business, or studying right away, or you prefer to wait and get your green card and then move. The green card process is it's based on which priority. I mean, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5, all of them are separate. I mean, each of them has a pipeline of processing. It can take maybe from 1 year to 5 to 6 years. So it's depend on which category you're applying for, but the processing is different. I didn't say anything about the family sponsorship. That's a different story, and and the one I'm saying, or all of it, it's related to the employment-based category. I will be in touch with you and explain you more and more about U.S. immigration for you as a Canadian.